That is the most self-serving motherfucker in metal. What's up, everybody? Justin here. We are back for more into the CD collection. I got a good little stack here, some fun stuff, and we'll get into them. First, I hope everybody liked the last video where I talked about my band for way too long. And about halfway through that video, I realized that there was way more to talk about than I could get done at once. A couple of you commented about seeing more than just the CDs, so my plan was just to talk about those CDs because I'm doing CD collection videos. If I were to sit down and talk about every Father Befouled release, it would take hours. But I may do a series of 3 or 4 videos talking about the entire backstory of Father Befouled if you guys are interested. I don't know, when I'm into a band, I want to know about them. I'd love to know trivia and facts and more behind the people in the band, and if you're into watching that kind of thing, I'll sit here and talk about it. So, but until then, we will get into more CDs. We are in the Fs. First, we are listening to Croaked. Croaked, K-R-O-C-H-T. This is Bandel Roger Actum. I don't know what that is. There's ships on the front. So, I got this in a trade a long time ago. And when I was looking at the trade list, I thought that this was Croaked, the more kind of like folk black metal band. Croaked, the only thing I know by them is Cry to Me River, which is good. And it was after I ordered this in the trade that I realized, oh, that didn't say Croaked, it said Croaked. But this is pretty decent black metal. It's real riffy. It's got a good production to it. This came out in 2007, I think. 2008, Cassavir Records. It's got 2 demos on it, one from 04, one from 07. Everything in here is in German, so I can't read any of it. It's either German or Dutch. It may be Dutch. But anyway, this is good. I have to look these guys up and see if they've done anything else. But it's good. It's kind of Finnish sounding. It sounds a little like Ludamissel in places. The way he plays riffs. Anyway, into the CDs. First, we have Faustcoven with Hellfire and Funeral Bells. Faustcoven is a kind of a doomy black metal band. And I'm forgetting where they are from. Somewhere not in America. Norway or Sweden, somewhere Scandinavian. I don't remember. But I did the layout for this. My buddy Seth Bennett did all of the artwork. But I did all of the text and putting it all together. And I did the layouts for their first 2 records. Honestly, though, this stuff never really clicked with me, but I know that they've got a pretty solid fan base. I'll listen to this again, man. I haven't listened to it forever. I have this one and the next one, the other one on vinyl. I don't remember if this was the second or third one. The first or second one. I don't remember. But Faustcoven, they've got a sick logo. I've always liked the logo. So next, we have Fear Before the March of Flames with Art Damage. Now this is kind of like a spazzy, metallic, metalcore, hardcore record. I got this as a promo when I wrote for Dead Tide, and it's really kind of chaotic, spazzy, hardcore stuff. I want to say that these guys got a pretty solid fan base around the time this came out, and then they broke up. They may be in more popular bands now, I'm not sure. But I really liked the layout to this. Someone put some time and some effort into it. And I do remember that on their first CD, which I sold, the layout was fucking terrible. And I mentioned that in my review of it. But I liked this record. It came out on Equal Vision, 2004. It's been out a while. But it's just kind of chaotic, spazzy, metal stuff. We'll throw a link below and check it out, because I remember liking it. That's why I kept this one and I didn't keep the other one. Alright, next we have Fear of Eternity with Towards the Castle. This is kind of like horror soundtrack influenced black metal. I think this is their first record. I still have, so when CDs used to come for review, they would send you a promo sheet like this that tells you about the band. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like this is the first record. I think they've done a lot more since then. And I remember liking this, but they're from Italy. And I'll have to throw this on and let's do it again. I remember it being really dark. It sounds the way it looks. You know, you got the castle and the grim, stark contrast photo. The smoky, foggy castle there. Man, I'm a sucker for that kind of shit. Then we have Growl with Mechanized Misanthropy. Growl was a project of Pete Helmkamp from Order of Chaos and Angel Corpse and some other bands. But this was his kind of like industrial metal, martial, death industrial thing. Mechanized Misanthropy is the perfect fucking name for it, because this is just like a steamroller of just fucking industrial nastiness. It's fucking gross, man. And I really, really like it. I've got it on vinyl too. This is the only thing they ever did. It's kind of just a project when Pete lived in Florida. But it's good. It's good. I'll drop a link below. You may like it. Then we have Fermentor with Insignia. This is, I want to say they're like a thrashy, brutal death metal band. This came out on Pathos. And that is the most self-serving motherfucker in metal. Anyway, Fermentor, Insignia. I think I'll listen to it once. And then this is Fermentor with Rate of Cognition. This is like a cardboard slip sleeve promo type thing. So Fermentor is my buddy Dylan. Dylan plays drums in my brutal death metal thing called Unborn Salivate. And he plays in a band called Eucharist. Not the good Eucharist from Sweden. It's more of like a melodic death metal Eucharist type thing. He plays in another band called Raise the Guns. He played drums on the last White Wizard album. And he played drums on the last Void Ceremony release. He's kind of like this Southern Californian drummer for hire. He's a music teacher by day, and he can play anything. But this is like super thrashy death metal. And I want to say that this release is instrumental. They may be instrumental altogether. Like, the band may just be instrumental. But this shit rules. My Father Befouled and Golgotha went on tour a few years ago. And Golgotha's drummer broke his arm like a week before the tour. So Dylan learned their set and filled in. And he brought these with him, and he gave me one, and it's fucking awesome. Okay, here we go. I forgot this was in here. Another band that I was in. This is Festered with Flesh Perversion. So in 2008 or so, Wayne, Electrocutioner, my buddy, Wayne Sarantopoulos, who gets mentioned in every fucking video, he said, hey, let's do like an old school thrashy death metal thing. I said, okay. His friend Chris, who went by the name Reaper, flew to Texas, and he lived in New England, and Wayne and Chris wrote and recorded this, over a weekend. And then they mailed it to me, and I did all the vocals on it, and Razorback Records put it out, and we got this fucking sick Drew Elliott artwork. I think, what's his name? Is it Drew Elliott? Yeah, Drew Elliott. I did all the layout. I hand wrote all the texts. I don't know if you can read that. But that's like from where I wrote the lyrics out. I just scanned them and put them in here. So this is like horror influence. It's got a bunch of horror samples on it. I wrote every song about a different horror movie. This was kind of like our nod to like old 80s death metal, like Massacre and Necrophagia and Early Death and Autopsy. And the vocals, all I did was sing on this. And I did something different vocally than I've ever done. Like, it's not super low, it's not high, it's really enunciated, and kind of like slurred almost. But this album is just one of my favorite things we ever did musically, and it's one of my favorite like vocal performances. And we always talked about doing more of it, but I feel like we would never top doing this because we nailed it. We did exactly what we wanted to do right off the bat. We knocked it out of the park on this first one, and I don't want to taint it. But unfortunately, Chris, guitars and bass, died 2 years ago. So we will never... Chris, some of you may know, he was the singer in Martyrvore, which is a kind of a war metal, nasty black metal band from New England. But Chris died, and it really sucked. And Wayne took it really hard. It was his best friend from back home. But fortunately, we have this legacy of Festered. And it's really, really fucking special to me. Then we have Flames of Hell with Fire and Steel. So Flames of Hell, most famously, are known for the LP version of this album is probably the most expensive metal record that you can buy. I know someone personally, it's not a rumor, I know him personally, I know when it happened, he talked to me about it, that spent over $2,000 on an original copy of this. So the story is, these guys were young, they were like 14, 15 years old, they were from Finland, and they would rehearse at a YMCA. The YMCA had like band rehearsal rooms, and they rehearsed and recorded this album in there. And there's nothing special about it. It's like proto late 80s black metal played by teenagers. And that's what it sounds like. It's interesting. It's good. But this record was put out, and the rumor was there's 666 copies of them, and only a handful ever actually got released. And my buddy who bought one from some like old collector, and it's in perfect condition. But unfortunately, it got bootlegged, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. And the bootlegs, you can tell they're different from the original press, but it's a pretty solid looking bootleg. But apparently no one in this band is like, you can't contact them. No one's ever gotten in touch with them about doing a legit re-release or anything. But this is a bootleg CD I picked up somewhere along the way. It's just fun to have and talk about. And it's decent. It's a good listen. If you like, you know, old first wave Finnish black metal. Alright, then we've got Flesh Consumed with Mutilate, Eviscerate, Decapitate. This came out on Severed Records. It is just standard brutal death metal. It's riffy, a little thrashy. It's good though. It's got rad artwork. Like if you look at it up close, it's not too cartoony looking. But it's decent, and it's got a bunch of guest vocalists on it, which is good. You know, Blue from Guttural Secrete, Sean Whitaker from Insidious Decrepancy, Angel from Cephalotripsy's on this, so it's rad. Alright, then we have Fleshcrawl. I talked about these two albums at length in my last new stuff update. They both rule. They're both mandatory, old school, early 90s death metal. Go buy them. And then that was their first and second record. And then Made of Flesh was either their fourth or their fifth. And it's good too. This record compared to those two is more like HM2 sounding. It's more like Swedish death metal sounding versus just old school death metal sounding. They're from Germany, so it's like a German band sounding like a Swedish band. But it's really fucking good. It's really fucking riffy and melodic, but it's dirty. It's heavy as fuck. They're tuned super low, man. It's rad. This is a good record. After this one, I have not kept up with them at all. Then we have Flickerstick. Didn't expect that, did you? And I don't know where the booklet to this is. Hold on. Aha! There's the booklet. It was on my desk. So Flickerstick, most famously, they're an indie rock band from Texas. And in the late 90s, like 99, 2000, somewhere in there, they were on a TV show on VH1 called Band on the Run. And they took 4 bands and they sent them on tour, and they had to complete challenges on tour and make money and blah, blah, blah. And they won. And they won a record deal, I guess. This came on Epic Records. So I watched that show. It was interesting. None of the bands were all that good. But it didn't cater to like the underground music fan or metal fan at all. Cut to 2002 or so, me and my wife went to a big music festival because she wanted to see Counting Crows, who I talked about several videos ago. And Flickerstick played, and we watched. I said, "Ooh, that's that band from VH1. Let's check them out." So we watched them. It was an outdoor festival, and they were fucking killer live. Just real energetic. Just great live show. Dudes playing a show in the middle of the afternoon in the bright daylight, but they played it like they were headlining a festival, and they didn't give any fucks. So my wife was like, "Ooh, I want the CD." So we bought the CD, and man, me and her have listened to this shit so many times. We listened to this. She has it on her phone, and we listened to it on her phone in the car like 2 days ago. But they don't sound like any other band. Like, they're not real radio friendly, and I think that was one of the things that, you know, they put this record out and kind of went nowhere, and they've done like some stuff since then, including a live record recorded here in Atlanta. I'd really like to get it. But their songs are melodic and catchy, but they're kind of dark, and you know, like, there's a song on here called "Chloroform the One You Love," and it's about basically roofing, you know, a girl to get her to sleep with you. It's fucked up. But and just songs about rock and roll debauchery and, you know, touring and doing drugs and life experience. But there's some really good like instrumentation on this and really interesting songs. It's not poppy at all. It's just a good rock record. But check it out if that's your sort of thing. Alright, last for this round, this is a favorite of mine. This is Festered with Langsgalg and Rad. So Festered was a black metal band from the Netherlands. This came out 2000, 2002, 3, 4, somewhere in there. On Full Moon Productions. And it is black metal. It's kind of depressive sounding, but also kind of just, it's, I don't know how to describe it. Festered has a sound unto themselves, a little like Nastron, some Gorgoroth, but I really love this record. All the songs have identity. Look at that artwork too. That artwork's fucking badass. All the songs have identity. You can tell them apart. You can tell what they're doing. It's played really well. It's recorded really well. It's just a good, unique, you know, early 2000s black metal record. I wish they had done more. But most famously, the drummer of this band, Jimmy, is the drummer of Faustcoven, who are huge and awesome. And I've done a lot of work with them with design and stuff. I've done some t-shirt designs for him, and Jimmy's really funny. He's a good guy. So, I really like this record. Check it out. It may be It's kind of a hidden gem. Not many people know about this band, man, but I fucking love this band. That's it. My tape's over. My coffee's cold. It's late. I have to go to work tomorrow. So let's talk about these. I got more coming. I got more ideas. So I'm going to go to some shows soon in the next couple weeks. I'm going to try to do another show experience video. I'm building up a stack of new shit. Do a new shit video. I got some more 5-minute favorites coming up. And I've got something new I want to do. I'm going to do some videos from the perspective of being a musician. And talk about some musician things. Because I think some people really like the insight I gave in the Father Profound video. So if you want to see some of that, talk to me. Like, subscribe, comment. Get me some more subscribers so we can get more people talking about this stuff. Talk to you guys later.